Forest fam, this one is for you. Today we are talking about all things electric forest. I have my friend, fellow YouTuber, and electric forest veteran, Ashley Gauthier, on to share her best tips, advice, and stories from the forest. As someone who's about to attend their first forest, this conversation was so wonderful. I can't even begin to tell you. So I hope you all find this episode helpful as well. Let's get into it. Hello you guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Kapotes. Thank you all so much for being here. Forest fam, we're talking about you today. I could not be more excited to bring you guys this conversation today with my good friend Ashley. Seriously, you guys, I am attending my first forest this year. I have been waiting years to do this and finally experience it. I have all of the questions. I want to know all of the information. So I decided to do a fully dedicated episode to electric forest, and I thought Ashley would be the perfect person to, one, introduce you guys to, and two, to talk to about this. She has done the festival 5 times. This year will be her 6th time. So she has ample amounts of tips and advice and stories to share with all of us today. We talked for an hour and a half, and then we hung up the phone and called each other again and then spoke for another hour and a half. So needless to say, this episode is jam-packed with information. It's going to be absolutely great. I cannot wait for you guys to hear the interview. Before we get started, you guys know the drill. Huge thank you for checking out the podcast. I would absolutely love it if you guys would rate and review if you are listening on Apple Podcasts. It is super helpful to me. It lets people discover the podcast when you guys throw some stars and leave reviews, so I really, really appreciate it. Also tag us on Instagram and on Twitter. Share a link with someone today. The accounts you guys can follow are at raveculturecast. That's at raveculturecast on Instagram and on Twitter, and at Emma Kapotes, EMMAKAPOTES on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, you can follow along on my YouTube channel under my name, Emma Kapotes. If you guys want to watch the episodes and see the interviews, go on and subscribe over there as well. We got a whole YouTube fam happening. So that is everything. Thank you guys so much. Tag a friend today. Spread the word about the podcast. Tell your forest fam, you guys. That's the biggest thing. This is a huge resource if you guys are attending forest this year. So send it out to your fam, and hopefully they can get some beneficial information today, because this is like gonna be killing it. So I'm very excited. But before we get into everything, you guys, let's kick it off with our listener of the week. So if you guys are unfamiliar, every single week we want to highlight one of our listeners, one of the fans of the podcast. You guys can send in nominations of somebody you would like to nominate for listener of the week to raveculturecast@gmail.com. That is raveculturecast@gmail.com. Our listener of the week is somebody who is a good person. They are making an impact on your life or in this community. It's somebody we should be shouting out. So yeah, if you guys have a friend who has something big happening in their life, some exciting news, whatever it may be, we want to shout it out. So this week I have a very special listener that I wanted to shed some light on. He is somebody that has been a supporter of mine for a while, and I actually had the pleasure of meeting him at EDC Las Vegas this year, which was a huge moment for me personally, but I just will never forget that night as long as I live. It was one of the most surreal moments and meetups that I've ever had. So at Adam_HTX94. That's at Adam_HTX94. I had to shout you out. It was way overdue, first of all, let me say that. He's a part of the fam. He's a part of the Anjuna fam. And he's just regularly been in touch with me, and his support means the world, and he's always been so kind. So I just really want to shout him out, and I really, really appreciate you being a part of this family and being so supportive and sticking around with me and coming out to my meetups. It means the world for you to take time out of your very busy festival schedule to show up and hang out and wait on a line. It means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. So at Adam_HTX94, you are a listener of the week, and I hope you have an incredible day today, wherever you are listening from. So you guys, again, please send in your nominations, raveculturecast@gmail.com, if you would like to have a shout out. What else do I have for you guys? Upcoming submissions. So I am going to be doing a really fun episode that I've been meaning to do this one for a while, but we're in full swing of festival season coming up, right? So festival lineups have been dropping like crazy. I feel like every week there's just multiple lineups dropping. It's so overwhelming. I don't even know what to buy tickets to anymore because all of them are fire and I literally cannot decide. So I want to do an episode all about if festival lineups really are that important to the overall experience of the festival. Because, you know, people have a lot of opinions. Festivals drop and some people rip them apart, some people love them. In general, they can just be controversial, Electric Forest being one of them. And at the end of the day, some people have the opinion that the lineup doesn't even fucking matter, right? Like, how much does it matter? You're still gonna go, you're still gonna buy tickets. So I wanna know your opinions on it. Please email me, raveculturecast@gmail.com. Does the festival lineup really matter? What do you think? I wanna hear your opinions. You guys can also always email me other episode ideas and suggestions, topics you want me to cover, people you want me to interview. Please email me. Feedback is always welcome as well, you guys. So that is an open chain of communication if you want to get in touch with me, raveculturecast@gmail.com. All right, and of course, quick plug, if you guys want tickets to festivals, I am promoting through Pollen, so I have reduced rates, expedited entry, all kinds of cool stuff for, oh my gosh, Ubby Dubby, Bonnaroo, Lightning in a Bottle, Phoenix Lights, Elements Lakewood, oh gosh, what else do I have? Governor's Ball, like so many different festivals, local shows to New York City and Brooklyn. DM me on Instagram @Kapotes if you want me to hook you up with any of those things. I'm more than happy to do that. So yeah, so that's all I got. Now let's talk about today's episode because I want to get into this interview with Ashley. So really quickly, just to talk about how I became familiar with Electric Forest and like what my history is with it. So one, I'm a stan of Pasquale Rotella, absolutely in love with that man. I think he does incredible things for this community, and the festivals he creates and his team create are top of the line, the most incredible experiences. I feel like they really put so much effort into what the experience is going to be like for the fans attending the shows. So Electric Forest is arguably one of the best Insomniac events that they put on. It's been around for a while now. It takes place in, Rothbury, Michigan. It is, okay. So it's happening this year, June 25th to the 28th. Quick disclaimer, if you guys didn't get tickets, they have a wait list on their website, and people sell their tickets. There's like plenty of ways to get them. Just make sure you're doing it through like a legitimate source. But anyway, I became familiar with Electric Forest a while ago, but if you were familiar with me, I was very much on the EDC Las Vegas train, and festivals are expensive. And as I was getting into this scene and I was expanding the different festivals I attended, I just never had Forest on the top of my list. One, because it was a camping festival and I was more of like a hotel ass bitch. I was like, I'm not on the camping festival train. I haven't even done one yet. This will be my first camping festival. But over time, you know, I just became more and more interested in it. There's more coverage of it. More people were posting about it. I saw people's vlogs. I saw people's photos. And like once you see a picture of the forest at night, I feel like it's just the most incredible image. And I think, when was it? Within the last year and a half, I really solidified, like, this is top of my bucket list. Like, I have to do this festival. It just seems like the most incredible community, the most incredible vibes. I've never heard a bad thing about it. So yeah, so that's when it like started to bubble up in me that I wanted to do this festival. And then I had done EDC Las Vegas for 5 times in a row. And this year, going into EDC, I knew that I was going to take a break in 2020 to attend Electric Forest instead. Now, that was a personal decision. A lot of people do them back to back, but to me, they're both such big festivals. There are a lot of vacation days, they're expensive, and they take a toll on your body. So to me, it was one or the other, and I personally am bowing out of EDC Las Vegas this year and taking a break and doing Electric Forest instead. So that's my background with it. That's like my history on how I feel about it. I'm so pumped to do my first camping festival. I've camped a million times before. It's not like I'm far into it. I was a Girl Scout growing up. My whole family was a scouting family. My brothers were Eagle Scouts. My dad was like a scoutmaster. It was a whole fucking thing. I was a Gold Award scout. I literally did it until senior year of high school. Yes, that might be a little lame, but I loved it, so whatever. I got skills, yo. So anyway, I know how to camp. I'm not like, that's not something that like terrifies me or anything. I'm so down for the whole like experience of the forest. But yeah, but I just finally am so ready for the experience and the community, and now like as involved as I am with rave culture, it just seems like the perfect fit. So anyway, that was my very long-winded way of saying that I'm so beyond excited. I'm putting so much effort into this festival. There will definitely be content on my YouTube channel, like preparation tips and what I'm packing and that stuff. I can't really speak to the festival experience because I haven't done it yet. So next year I will have more videos on how to like actually prepare, but you guys can stay tuned. This leads me into my next point. If you need any help with the planning process, my girl Ashley Gauthier, that is Ashley, and her last name is Gauthier. She has an incredible YouTube channel along with Vibe with Aid. She also has an amazing YouTube channel. They're both beautiful content creators, such good souls. And they both have done Electric Forest, have amazing preparation tips, what to pack, like all the kinds of things, ticketing options, group camping, like anything you guys want to know, they have videos on it, and they're continuing to put videos out. So they are an incredible resource on YouTube if you need more information about Electric Forest. Anyway, so I became familiar with Ashley, I'm pretty sure, through her forest videos, because I want to say maybe a year ago, if it's been that long, I was starting to research the festival, and Aid could tell you if you asked her. Like, I started texting her over a year ago before I even knew I was going to do the festival. I was like, what should I pack? What should be on my to-do list? And she was wonderful and was sending me like Excel docs of things. But anyway, I found Ashley through her YouTube channel, and she has some really incredible videos, you guys. I love that she comes from a different background. She's way more into bass music. She is a major Bass Nectar fan. So all my Bass Nectar fans, you will love her channel. She travels to his shows and loves him. So it's cool. She like has a very different taste in music than me, which I love, and Electric Forest is like right up her alley. Like I said, she's done it 5 times. So that's how I became familiar with her. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know her and talk to her. We've all like really connected, and it's been just like so nice having somebody to like talk to and bounce ideas off of, who understands, because they're a content creator as well in the same space. So Ashley's been a really great friend and a really great resource, and I'm so excited to introduce you guys to her and have her on today. So we talk about everything. I picked Ashley's brain. I ask every single question I have as a person who's never done forest. So this is sort of like a guide. This is a resource. She tells stories. She gives pointers, like anything that you can think of, we pretty much try to cover in this. So with all that being said, I want to welcome Ashley to the podcast. Go check out her YouTube channel. Go check out Vibe with Aid's channel as well. And her Instagram handle is at Ashley Gauthier. Again, that's ASHLEYGAUTHIER. Go give her a follow and show her some love. So with all of that being said, let's get into my conversation with Ashley. I'm so excited to have you on here. Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I was so excited. Like, you're not just to have goals that like you can't make happen yourself, but one of my goals for 2020 was to be on this podcast, and you asked me within like a couple days.
Oh yeah. We're starting off the year on the right foot. Yes. I wanted to have you on for a while for a couple of reasons, but you know, I definitely want to pick your brain about a couple topics today, and just in general, I just want to get people familiar with you, and like I want to get to know you better, and then you know we have like a specific topic in mind that we'll definitely like get into, and you know it'll be fine. We'll ask all the questions and tell all the stories. Yes. I don't know too much about you personally either, so I would just love for you to tell us like where you're from, what you do, a little bit more about you and your channel.
All right, so my name is Ashley. I'm 24 to get super basic. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm like 30 minutes outside of Boston. Lived there my whole life. I went to the University of New Hampshire for like a year and a half for college, and then I ended up transferring to the Fashion Institute of Technology. So I'm like pretty familiar with New York City as well.
Okay.
Probably not as familiar as you are, but I lived there for like 2 years.
Nice.
I also studied abroad in Australia because you did that too, right?
Yeah, that's so funny.
What city were you in?
We did Sydney for a week, and then we traveled like up and down the East Coast. Like every week we were in a different city. So we did Melbourne, we did Cairns, and like the capital, I think Canberra.
Oh, I didn't go to Canberra, but I went to the other places as well.
Okay.
So I was based out of Melbourne. And then after school, I decided to apply to jobs out in LA because I kind of had like a dream of always like being out here. Crazy thing is I had never actually been to LA till the day I moved. I had a job set up. I did everything like all virtually. And then I like literally just moved here with all my stuff and like breathed in the LA air, saw the landscape for the first time, like on my way to my apartment that I already paid for. So yeah, I've been like kind of like not going all out with YouTube, but like kind of dabbling in it for a while. Mm-hmm. I got into YouTube in like 2014 is kind of when I realized that there was like a community and like so many people on YouTube. And then I didn't really know like what content was for me. So I've tested out like a ton of different things, just like New York City vlogs and like study abroad vlogs and things like that. But I never really stuck with it until it kind of made more sense once I had one electric forest video that got like way more views than the rest. I think I made that video in like 2017.
Okay.
But I didn't think that I had like enough of a story to tell about it. Like I didn't have the vision of like the way that I saw you and Aid eventually have this vision of like how you could incorporate festival life into your channel on a consistent basis without going to festivals every single week. So once I saw you guys doing that, it like inspired me so much to realize that I can do it. I don't have to go to 52 festivals a year to like have enough information to give people. Mm-hmm. So probably in the past year or so, the beginning of this festival season, I was like, okay, I can do this. And I like started going all out. Obviously, I've been to Electric Forest the most, so most of my videos are about that. And then also about like falling bass nectar and stuff.
Yeah. I was going to say we could have a whole bass nectar episode because I'm sure we could. Yeah.
It's a whole other thing.
Yeah, for sure. So this is so interesting. I forgot we had FIT in common too because I almost went there. I paid my deposit there.
No way.
Yeah, and like, I don't know. It's just a great school, obviously, and their internships were a huge draw for me because I was a graphic design major. That's like what I wanted to do. And I was like, you would have such good opportunities like getting into places with this background. And then I ended up pulling out like last minute. But so is your background in fashion or like what was your degree that made you move to LA for?
Yeah, so I went to school for fashion business management. I originally applied for like psychology, classic. Like I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I loved like learning about psychology and about like people and stuff. Okay. And after I applied to UNH and like decided I was going there, I was literally like putting in my deposit. It was spring of my senior year. My dad was like, you're like you have like a pretty good eye. You like clothes. Like, why don't you try to do something with that? So it's funny. My dad actually put the idea in my head. And then I decided I wanted to try to be a buyer because it's like a good mix of like creativity and like I'm not like a true artist, I don't think. So, like I can't draw or like even like you're so good with like makeup. Like I don't have that like
thanks, girl.
ability with my hands. So it was like a way for me to be like creative, but also like it like combines it with numbers. So it's not like all about creativity, but it gives you that creative outlet.
Right.
So I like eventually realized like I was never going to get an internship in fashion in New Hampshire. Like that's just not going to happen. Yeah. I always wanted to move to Boston after college, but I was like, you know what? Let's just like transfer now. And then New York's like, I have to go to New York. I can't, if I'm going to do this, like skip Boston, go straight to New York.
Yeah.
And now I'm like kind of in this place where I'm like kind of stuck. Like I have to be in LA or New York unless I like somehow, like I would have to just go wherever a job took me. Like I'm kind of limited in that sense because of that. So you're pretty lucky that you chose not to do that because now you can live wherever you want.
Right. What's so funny, I don't know why I had this impression. You just give me such California vibes. I thought you were from there originally.
Oh, really? Yeah, no. I actually I had been to San Francisco twice before I moved here, and I only moved here like a year and a half ago. But yeah, I feel like I belong here. I never felt like that in New York, and I loved Australia and really didn't want to leave. I wasn't ready to leave, but I never felt like home there. California, I'm like, this feels right finally.
Oh, that's awesome. I'll definitely have to come and visit you because I've been there, but I was 15. I didn't fully get to actually experience the city and what it would be like now. So I'm curious, are you living in the main area, or what kind of setup are you in now?
So I live in Echo Park, and it's right above downtown. The interesting thing about LA that I've never experienced another city that's like this. It has so many different main areas. New York City, the main area is Manhattan,
Right.
And there's Midtown Manhattan. That's the number one spot. There's also other cool places, but that is the downtown area.
Yeah.
But in California, the downtown area is built up with buildings, but it's not necessarily the only place to go see cool things. There's obviously places like Beverly Hills is a place within itself. Then there's Santa Monica and Venice that it's own downtown area. So there's many different downtowns. But I'm right near the standard downtown.
Okay, cool. Oh my God, yeah, I definitely have to go visit you at some point.
We should do Escape or something, because I know you say you've never been to California Festival.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that's a good transition too, because now you have all this access to all of these events and shows. Not only is it a great opportunity for creators who are YouTubers and things like that, but the music scene out there, you have all the Insomniac events and stuff. So, I want to ask you what your experience has been going to shows in California, but to go back, when did you first get into this community or get into this music?
So I got into it in 2010. I can't remember the exact thing that triggered it, but I'm pretty sure it was my boyfriend at the time introduced me to the song My Name is Skrillex, is I think exactly what it was. And there was just this phase from my high school where people started listening to it. And then my friend group in particular, it was fall of my sophomore year of high school. And my friend group would do little rave parties in my friend Courtney's basement literally every single weekend of the fall.
That's amazing.
We got strobe lights, we got an amp, everyone brought their own thing to create to come together and create these fun parties in the basement. So we were listening to Kid Sister by Rusko. We would listen to Skrillex. We would listen to Cinema by Skrillex, Basshead, and that was really my introduction to it. It was just really a phase for everyone else. People from my high school stopped listening to it after probably 6 or so months, but I just never really faded for me.
Right. And so when did you become a huge fan of Bass Nectar? When did that all come about?
So so like I said, I knew who he was, and I listened to a few songs. I kind of fell out of EDM for a little bit.
Okay.
Probably by my senior year of high school. No, I was still into it then. Probably when I got to college, because I didn't know I didn't know SoundCloud, and I didn't know a lot of people that listened to EDM. So in high school, I remember in study hall, me and my friend Nate would sit down and exchange songs that we knew and literally write it down on a piece of notebook paper and tell each other to go home and download them off of YouTube to get them onto iTunes.
Yep.
But then I didn't know how to find new music, so I kind of faded out of it. The first time I went to Electric Forest, like I said, I didn't know a ton of people that were into the music anymore, so I literally tweeted, who wants to go to Electric Forest with me? And these girls I was kind of in the same circle with in college reached out, and we ended up buying tickets together. So I went to see Bass Nectar for the first time at Electric Forest. I actually really didn't want to go to the set. I wanted to see somebody else. I can't remember who, because they always have someone amazing to draw the crowd away.
Right, yeah.
At the same time. And I thought it was fun, but I didn't understand the hype. And then it was again the next year, that winter, going into Electric Forest 2016, they announced that he was going to be a resident then. And I remember, oh my God, people are going to hear this and be so upset with me. But I remember being no, I don't want him to be a resident, because it was really overwhelming for me to see that
it's a lot.
Not all Bass Nectar fans want to admit it, but the crowd is so much different than the crowds of a lot of other artists.
Mm-hmm.
It was really overwhelming for me at first. And I was like, oh my God, it's gonna like, there are a lot of people in that community that do like, I don't know, they go off the walls.
Mm-hmm.
I've like grown to really love it, and I'm definitely like part of that now, but at first it's like a little bit off-putting.
Mm-hmm. So how many Electric Force have you been up until this point? 5 or 6?
5.
Okay, cool. So so 2015 was your first one.
2015 was my first one. Like I said, I wasn't that into it. And then 2016, they announced he was going to be resident, and I wasn't that excited about it. And then that set that I saw, I was finally like, oh my God, I finally get it. I remember I wanted to see, I think it was Porter Robinson instead, so bad.
Okay.
I didn't want to separate from my group, but like, thank God I didn't, because after that, that's like when it was the downward spiral. I went to see him at Electric Zoo after that as well.
Okay. It's so funny too, like how your musical taste changes though. Not only from like the festivals you go to, but just as you get older, because like it's with everyone, especially from your first festival till like now. Like obviously like the main stage acts are the people you see, and like now I literally just I'm so excited about the people I don't know, or if I haven't seen you before, that's the most exciting thing ever to me, because you've just seen so many people at this point. So that's so awesome.
There's a point in time where I still like I really was so excited about seeing only people that I knew, and then like like so many of the festivals have repeat people, like there's only so many people on cycle at once, so I started to get to a point where I was like, I feel like I've really seen everyone, like I wanted to see, but then you discover like a new style of music you really like, and then there's like a million people that you like have not had the opportunity to see it because you didn't know about them.
And now you've traveled to like a few of his different festivals, right?
Yeah, so I've been to freestyle sessions, I've been to Bass Center twice, 3 of his New Year's Eve events. I went to his Be Interactive show, his first one, that's like his charity event.
Okay.
And then I'm going to Deja Vu in March.
I was just going to ask if you've done that yet.
No, I'm so excited. I wanted to last year. It just didn't work out with like all my friends' plans and stuff. But this year, a couple of us pulled the trigger, and now like slowly more and more people are buying their spots. And like we're in a million different rooms because everyone like is buying from people dropping out and stuff. But I'm so excited to experience that. We've gone to just like the most random places to see him that we like never had any desire to go to. So
yeah. Well, it's is it in Cancun or is it in Mexico?
Yeah, it's in Cancun.
Okay. I was just thinking about that the other day because Holy Shipwrecked is coming up next weekend, I think. And just, I mean, obviously, I think there was a draw away from pulling it like off of the boat, which is like one thing for the dedicated ship fam. But in general, I'm so intrigued by these all-inclusive festivals because I just think it's the best of both worlds. You get to have this really nice vacation and like music all day long. It's like you're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I never really like imagined myself being able to make it to one. So the fact that it's becoming a reality is just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
And I've really been missing traveling lately just because like studying abroad and stuff, and I've just used all my vacation days like pretty much just to go see Bass Sector. It's so bad. Yeah. But it worked out where I only need to use 1 extra day to get the whole weekend before off. So my friends and I are actually going to go to Tulum. So we feel like we get some like actual relaxation time for the first time in like, years. Right. And like feeling like I'm seeing a new corner of the world and just like genuinely traveling.
That's going to be so nice. Oh my God, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
So your YouTube channel where it like falls into all of this now. So you had been dabbling for a little while, and I remember you saying at one point you sort of like took a break, or like now you have really ramped up your content and you're like consistently posting, and I've like it's really been amazing to watch you grow as a channel. But you know, when you first started that, like you said, was it more about like Electric Force, or did you just want to like share your experiences with people?
My first like YouTube videos in general, or like starting ramping up? I wanted
to start it kind of, yeah.
I don't know, like I've always just been a person that needs a creative outlet, and like I said, like I'm not an artist, I'm like not good at painting or drawing or things like that, so that's like kind of why I gravitate to clothes. And then another thing I gravitate towards is like decorating my room, and it gets so expensive to do those things. So I kind of just wanted to find a way to have a creative outlet that like wasn't so expensive. Like I hate like sitting at home like watching TV. I remember when I went to college, there was like they made us watch this video, and it said something about like really think about what you're doing with your time. Like, what are you doing that's just like a time waster? Scrolling through your phone, watching TV. Like, what is that providing you?
Mm-hmm.
So I like would think about that a lot and be like, what am I doing? Like, what's the point of redecorating my room? What's the point of like coming up with like a cute outfit? You can only do it so many times and feel like you're like doing something meaningful, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I needed a way to be creative without just like draining my wall and making myself like kind of give a confidence booster to know that you're like putting your time towards something relatively useful, like helping people or even simply like entertaining people is like pretty fulfilling.
Well, I think you are definitely an artist because I love your thumbnails and like the aesthetic that you have is great. So I definitely think that that's a form of art, but
Thank you.
It's really cool for you to share everything you have and to get to like the topic that we are talking about today. Like your channel and A's channel has been such a resource for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, because my perspective coming at today's episode is I've never done Electric Forest. This is going to be my first one. I've never done a camping festival. There's that. I've never done Space Nectar. There's going to be that experience to it too. And seriously, like I'm just devouring all of the information I can through Reddit, through their website, through your guys' videos. And I don't know why with this festival, it was always daunting to me because there's just so many levels of like tickets and camping styles and VIP. And I always was looking at the tickets and I knew that they sold out quickly. And I was like, well, I'm not even going to get one anyway. So what does it matter? and then after like EDC last year, I finally made a decision from watching everybody's things. I was like, I have to do this. This just looks like the most incredible experience. And, you know, I want to talk to you a little bit about ticketing, but, yeah, so just in general, a huge thank you to your channel because the way you have broken down the ticketing options and the information, guys, I was texting Ashley. I'm like, can you talk about this on your channel? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Me by the questions you've asked me, like for the group camping options, like literally I just had to go through our text to be like, these are all questions that people are dying to know. So you've helped me in return. So thanks.
Oh, God. Well, hopefully group camping comes up soon. I know people are like patiently awaiting for that announcement to happen.
Yeah, that should be happening really any day now, I would assume.
I'm so excited. Well, I want to talk about your experiences, and in general, I want to, hear stories from you and anything you can share. But to get started, I'm curious from your perspective, like what you think the biggest draw of this festival is, or like you hear these people who are so like loyally dedicated and go every single year. Like, what is it about this like Forest fam that makes it so special?
It's interesting. I was just talking to some of my friends about this, and so the first festival I went to was EDC New York, and then the second festival I went to was Electric Forest. So I feel like I saw how special it was, but sometimes it's hard for me to remember like why it's so special compared to other festivals, because that was like pretty much my introduction into the festival scene.
Right.
But I feel like the thing that makes it so different is just like how friendly everyone is. Like, like the rave community is so friendly in general, like no matter pretty much any festival you go to. But everyone, I don't know, it's just there's just this magic in the air where everyone you walk by is like yelling happy Forest to you. It's just like such a community, and everyone is so like happy to finally be back. And I feel like something about the Forest, like to a whole other extent, is all about like being yourself. Like I feel like Electric Forest has changed my life in a way, because like it just made me realize like why am I wondering like why am I ever curious about like what someone else is doing, or like judging someone else for what they're doing. It's literally all about like just doing what makes you happy in that moment. No one's like staring at you wondering why you're yelling this weird thing, or why you're dressed this way, or like why you're just acting crazy. Like it's literally all just about like doing what makes you happy in that moment.
I'm so excited. I could cry.
It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited for you to experience it, and I'm so excited for you to experience camping festival, because like in my head, I feel like I didn't fully experience festival unless I like camped. So I'm excited for you to feel like you're like there the whole time and see your perspective on it.
I know. I can't wait. And I think, I definitely think like the biggest thing about this like seems to be community. Like it just seems like it's hard to describe unless you've done it, but there's just this sense of like exactly what you said. Like, people are so thankful to be there and to be back every year. And it's nice that it's a 4-day festival, and then you have the camping aspect of it, and now it's an extra extended day, so it's almost a friggin' week at this point. But
literally like 7 days.
Yeah, and I just think people are just so happy to be there. So I'm definitely looking forward to like that aspect of like the community and getting to meet so many new people, and like the closeness of your camping ground, so you can interact with more people and meet them that way. So thank you for that description. I'm so excited. I literally wanted this episode to be something to just like get people so hyped, because I know this is probably going to come out in January. Like, I know it's pretty far off, but I know group camping is going to come out soon. And for other people like me who are starting to prepare, like, I want this to act as like a guide to just get them hype as hell.
It's never too early.
Yeah, no, I can't even imagine. I know there's like other festivals that are going to come up probably before this, but I need to like start preparing because I don't have any camping things at home.
That's like a whole other thing in itself, just like preparing for it. Like, it's even if you wait last minute, if you're watching this down the line, like in May, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more like calm if you're like thinking about it ahead of time.
Right. Well, so I want to talk to you about the ticketing fiasco that happened, and just getting to this festival in general. I know, I thought it'd be fun to chat about, because there were a lot of people who, well, so just so you guys listening are aware, I want to just have like general questions, and then I have camping questions, and then music questions, because this is how my brain works. So in general, yeah, with ticketing, it just seems like every year, and this is happening with like Insomniac events across the board. EDC Las Vegas sold out in record time. Electric Forest this year sold out in record time, unless you had some sort of like loyalty pre-sale code. So in general, I'm curious your thoughts about how fast the tickets sold out, and what your thoughts are on the loyalty program.
So I was pretty shocked they sold out that fast. Like, I think the first couple times I went, like when it was one weekend, didn't sell out for like a few months. I knew it would sell out faster last year because it went from 2 weekends to one weekend.
Right.
But I'm surprised. Like, I cannot believe that like there are people that were in line right like the second that they went on sale that didn't even make it out of line. Like, that's the Coachella status.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy because when I first started going to Electric Forest, like nobody, like not nobody, but like the average person that isn't into festivals just had no idea what that even was.
Right.
It's crazy to see, like, because I'm in my own little bubble of like Electric Forest being my whole life. I feel like it just got so popular without me even realizing it. I just assumed that no one still knew what it was. So I'm.
Are you
Could you say that again?
You're good. You froze.
Oh, okay. Okay, you froze too. That's why I couldn't hear you.
No, we're good.
Do you need me to repeat anything?
No, you should be good. I could still hear you. Your face just froze for a second. We're good.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
But I actually never really thought about the loyalty codes because, like I said, to me, whatever I know about Electric Forest, like, was kind of the norm because it was like pretty much like the first festival I went to. So I never really thought about the loyalty code thing until you said it. Yeah. And I was like, I can't think of any other festival that does loyalty. So now I'm wondering, like, you're right. Like, I feel like I said, it is all about community. So it is important to show like the community how they're thankful for us, like continuing to go back. Like, I love that. And I think that's the reason they, like, the way that they think about things like that is like the reason why Electric Forest is the way it is. Like, they think about the community with the tickets, but then they think about it in so many other ways, like that you'll see when you're there.
Yeah.
And that's why it is so special. So I like that they do that, but then at the same time now, like, there's so many people who have been there's so many people now that have reached 4 in the forest, and once you reach 4 in the forest, you don't even need to go like the year before to get loyalty. I can get loyalty codes for the rest of my life now that I've like reached that level.
Got it.
Now it's like there's more and more people that are getting that. How is anybody going to get a ticket if they're like offering these types of loyalty codes? So I think it's interesting.
Yeah, I know. Well, so the only other festival somebody else brought up was Holy Ship, because they have this like really dedicated loyalty thing, and like you can graduate. And from like a user experience perspective, that festival, it's interesting. These were the 2 festivals that were the most daunting to me ticketing wise, because I thought the same thing about that. I was like, it seems impossible to even get on this fucking ship. So I'm not even going to try, which I'm sure with forests is kind of starting to happen. So it's almost like deterring people from even like looking into it. But at the same time, somebody else said this and I like totally agreed with it. I think there should be like, if you hit 3 years and more, then you should get a loyalty code. But the people who have only gone like 1 year, maybe they don't need a loyalty code. Like maybe you should prove that you've done this a couple years in a row that consistently. So then you should get like a loyalty pre-sale, just not give it out to everybody who's gone once. But the other thing people brought up is it was 2 weekends, 2 years in a row, I think, right? So now that it's back to the weekend, that totally fucked up everybody.
Yeah, I feel like that would have been a bigger problem last year, and I'm surprised it wasn't because, like you just said, there was, say, I don't know exactly how many people went and how many people are still going now, but I'm pretty sure when they do 1 weekend, it's like 40,000, and when they do 2 weekend, it was probably like 30,000. So that means there would have been 60,000 people going for 40,000 spots, like,
right.
If no one repeated it, like repeated both weekends, which obviously isn't the case, but they need to figure something out, I think. Like, they definitely need to reassess and maybe change, like, the loyalty system. But I do think that it is, like, what makes Electric Forest what it is the community. So I like that they, like, try to prove to you that they value you. You're not just, like, money or someone buying a ticket. They're like, we want you back.
No, yeah, I totally agree. It's so cool. Like, some of the housing options you talked about are, like, the ones that people who probably have been going for like literally years in a row that I would never even had known existed, like the different log cabins they have. It's just so crazy. And like, I have mad respect for any of those people who have been going before this was like such a popular thing too. So I'm glad, we got tickets. To anyone who did not get tickets yet, there's wait lists, and there's definitely, Aid was talking about this, there's so many other ways like you can go about it. People's plans change. They'll be selling their tickets, like, or other things might come up that they might want to do instead. So still have hope out there. You can definitely still finesse your way into into Electric Forest.
Where there's a will, there's a way. I think Aid did a whole video on like how to get tickets now that they're sold out. So you should check that out on her YouTube channel.
Yes, definitely. I'll add a link for that. Before I get into camping questions, I did want to ask in general too. I know it's a lot to explain, but for anyone who hasn't been, can you talk a little bit about like the setup of Electric Forest? Like, what are the main components? Like, what are the main stages? What do they have sort of built out on this map for you to experience at this festival?
Oh my God, there's so much. So when you first drive in, and then there's like the camping area. So if you do early arrival, you'll have only access to that part during the day, and then at night, that's the only area you have access to like on a daily basis. So then after you get through the camping area, there's like the typical venue entrance like any other festival you go to, and there you have, I think they have pretty much like 4 big stages, and they have some other smaller stages, and then they also have the like Sherwood Forest. It's kind of confusing for people that have never been, because like people refer to the forest as like the festival in general, and then there's also like
an actual
Sherwood Forest within it, so it's kind of used interchangeably, so it can get like definitely confusing.
Okay.
I think there's videos online if you're like curious about it that do like walkthroughs of the forest. Like people strap like a GoPro, if that might be able to help. But yeah, there's 4 big stages: the Tripoli, Rancherino, which is the main stage, Sherwood Court, and then so maybe 3. Wow, what am I on? And then there's also smaller stages throughout. So there's the hangar, which has the Carousel Club in the back, which is like a concept stage, I guess. It's like a big room with like tons of chandeliers and stuff. And then there's the forest stage and the observatory, which are both located inside the forest. So you kind of like walk through just like any other festival venue, like big grassy areas with the big stages. There's 2 stages, and once you get past the main stage, Ranch Arena, you enter into this like more densely wooded area, and that's what the Sherwood Forest is.
Okay.
So in there, that's where there's the observatory and the forest stage. And once you walk through the Sherwood Forest, that's where you get to the back area where there's another big open space, and that's where the hangar is and Sherwood Court.
Okay.
So within Sherwood Forest, the actual like wooded forest area, Beyond the stages, there's like tons of stuff to explore. There's like telephones that you can pick up that will call other telephones within the forest. There's like these little fairy doors that people like to open at the bottom of the trees that always have fun little messages inside. There's like a piano where people can go and play throughout the day. This is where tons of the paid like actors and characters are walking throughout. This is like the Sherwood Forest is like the heart of the forest where like I feel like the character of the festival is.
Is that like where all of like you see the cool art installations and things like that?
Yeah, so most of the art installations are all within the forest. There's so much to explore, and like the crazy thing about Electric Forest is that even though I've been 5 times, like sometimes I'm like, okay, I've done Electric Forest now. Like how much more is there to explore? But then just when you think that, there's like always something else like to do there that you've never noticed before. A lot of the stuff between every year is the same, but then there's also stuff that they like cycle out.
Right.
So there's just always something new to do. Like this year there was a new like small building on the edge of the forest that had like a tea party situation. I didn't go to it because the line was very long because everyone wanted to experience like the new shiny thing in the forest. But
Aw. Well, I was just saying, you made me think, thank you for the explanation because it's super helpful, I think, for people just to have like a better understanding of like what they're going to get with this festival. But you made me think too, like with EDC Las Vegas, that was my thing that I did 5 times. And you're so right. Like every single year it's a 3-day festival, but there was always things that I didn't see because a million and one things can happen that weekend. Maybe you'll show up late one day. Maybe you're getting around to sets. Last year they had this entire like downtown EDC area. I didn't go into a single room that they had there in the 3 days because it just didn't happen. So I can imagine Electric Forest just being one of those things, which is why they make you come back every year because there's just going to be so much to explore and discover there. It's going to be so cool.
100%. Like every single year I say I'm going to do the scavenger hunts and I never do it. I've actually never talked about the scavenger hunts like on my channel at all because I thought it was this thing that was like so super secret. Like it was one of those secrets of the forest that like nobody knew about because it was so hard for me to like get a grasp on what it was. Not realizing it's not as much as a secret as I thought. I still don't want to like give the whole thing away, but you could like look it up.
You know it exists. So yeah. Everyone can go figure that out.
Like even every year I say I'm gonna do the scavenger hunt, and every year like I've still not done it. Every single year it's like the number one thing on my list. But sometimes it's just like hard to get around and do everything they have to offer. You're only there for 4 days.
Right. Well, I was gonna ask you too because I'm just curious. Like, I keep hearing this thing reiterated about the camping situation. Like, if wherever you're situated, like you can be a really far walk to even get to the entrance. But what's it like once you get through the entrance? Like, does it still feel pretty spread out compared to like a raceway festival where everything's like remotely in one spot?
I don't know. It's hard for me to say. Sometimes it really depends on like your perspective and attitude on it. Like the days that I'm really tired, I'm like, oh, this walk is so long. Like now I'm like, I got to the stage in the back and like I just want to sit because I'm so tired. But then at the same time, I'm like, Ashley, you're being a baby. Just like get through the walk. It takes like 20 minutes from the festival entrance to get all the way to the back. But like it just feels like a lot. Like if you're at that backstage Sherwood Court, if you're like back there and you're like, shoot, like, or like I want like a couple more drinks, but I don't want to pay for it. I'm just gonna go back to the campsite.
Yeah,
it kind of ends up being like a couple hour ordeal. Given I'm like kind of a slow person, and my whole friend group could kind of be like that. But by the time you walk back through the entrance, it's been 20 minutes, and you have to walk to your campsite. Like do whatever you need to do and then make it all the way back
too, or no? You have to do security over and over.
Yes, but security's like so light, and I've like never really had a problem with the line. So I'm someone that like I don't need to go in like right when like the venue opens. Like that's a huge tip. When you go in on the first day, there's gonna be a massive line. If you want to wait a couple hours after it opens, like you won't have to deal with like nearly as big of a line, like maybe 10-15 minutes. So if you like try to go during the times that you won't think like a lot of people will be there, you won't have to deal with the line. But as far as actual security goes, it can be like it's pretty light most of the time. Like last year, I think on Friday, they just like shut down security. You just like walked through, like literally didn't open the back. It was crazy.
Oh my God. Well, so okay, so the next thing I'm kind of curious about is this camping experience, because I actually had two friends who went 2 years ago and they didn't camp. They did like an Airbnb nearby and they like
Huh.
Ubered back and forth, which I did not even know was like an option.
I've never met anybody that's done that.
Really? That's
I'd love to hear about more about it.
yeah. Well, because then I don't think they're coming. Yeah, I don't think they're coming this year either. But at the time, they like obviously offered, and I was like, if I'm gonna go to Forest, I'm gonna camp 100%. So I was like, you guys go do your thing. But in general, what has your camping experience been like in GA? And I know you also are you gonna do VIP this year?
Yeah, I got VIP tickets.
Woo!
I'm very excited just to experience something different because I've been 5 times and like it's kind of sad to admit, but like I'm just getting used to it. Like I'm so happy while I'm there, but it's not like, oh my God, like I can't believe this is real. Like I've been there 5 times, like I know it's real and I know this is what it's like. So what it's like, so I'm excited to have like a different perspective of it. It's like giving me that like new excitement for the festival again. Like I like feel like I've never been before.
Yeah.
But as far as like, there was so much hate about GA this year. I'm sure you saw a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't understand why, because like you said, everyone knows one of the biggest experiences of Electric Forest is the camping.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I don't know what the percentage is, but I would say like 80 to 90% of the people there all doing GA, and everyone's loved camping up until this year. All of a sudden there's a ton of hate. So I've had a great experience. I know most people in the past have always like gone off about how amazing the experience is.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that's another part that like it just makes Electric Forest what it is. There's like activities going all night, and there's like the RV sets in the camping area, and this is just like really where the community thrives, like meeting all your neighbors and getting to know people that you've never met before. There's people that are like best friends to this day. There's someone I was texting yesterday because he might be moving to California that I like literally hung out with one time because he was like a couple campsites down from me. So I feel like it's just a great opportunity to like meet new people and like just like chill and really get to know people during the downtime.
I just feel like if you're going to experience it for the first time, like GA is totally acceptable option. And like you said, like it's a great way to meet people. It's a great way to experience the forest. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm sort of going into it expecting all the things that you would expect doing GA. Like it's not going to be the most glamorous experience in the entire world. That's what you're paying for VIP to be. But it's helpful to hear from people like any tips and advice or like tricks about what time to go shower, like what things to pack with you. So I was going to ask you, I know one of the unpredictable things is the weather. So yeah, so I've heard it just gets like extremely hot during the day, and then I know obviously like there have been rainstorms, and then I've heard it also can get cold at night. So do you have any advice on how to handle the weather when you're camping?
You just need to pack for like all sorts of weather. So I didn't realize how cold it was going to be the first time I went, and I remember I brought just like one pair of sweatpants and a sweatshirt. Like like not even a thick sweatshirt, and being like frigid going to sleep at night because I don't even think I brought like a comforter. I just brought like a small blanket. So definitely like bring a sleeping bag or anything like that. Like I always will have like I'll wear like leggings with like sweatpants on top. And so during the day, to keep away from the heat, bring an easy up. That's something I would have never thought of my first year, but my friends, thank God, thought of it. And then bring tapestries. If you tie those along the sides of your easy up, that will create shade. So we'll keep like the shaded area like actually shaded instead of like beaming in from the side. You just really need to like pack and prepare for those for the cold and the heat. But another thing that's really unpredictable about the weather is the rain, because the way like the lake is right to the west of it, the clouds like roll over, and I don't know how weather really works to that extent, but it can create, because the big body of water right there, it can create like really unpredictable rain patterns. So sometimes like it will say that it's not going to rain, and then like a massive like thunderstorm will roll through, or sometimes like pretty much every year I've gone, it said it's going to rain, and sometimes it didn't end up raining at all. But one year it did, or 2 years I went, it absolutely downpoured, and we were like not prepared with the camping stuff. So I'm not like a pro on how to keep the rain out, but we like got rain inside of our tents. Like we ended up leaving for the morning, like to get out and try to dry off because all of our tents flooded and stuff. So
yeah.
I don't know if there's other YouTube videos out there about like how to prepare to camp in the rain from maybe like some sort of camping YouTuber. There's got to be one out there, but probably look into that as well.
Okay. I was going to ask you too, because in your vlogs, I saw this and I was so curious about it. It looked like you guys were leaving during the day and going to like a town or something.
Oh yeah. We don't normally do that. We did that this year a lot and like don't recommend it. Like I said, the part of that's like fun about Electric Forest is you enter in and you're like in this like world with no rules for like 4 days. So, like leaving it like takes you out and reminds you that there's a real world. So don't do that every day. But we just kept doing it for some stupid reason. But yeah, there is a town like 30 minutes away called Muskegon. That's like where the big Walmart is that everyone stops at. There's just like any store that you can really need right there.
So how does it work with like alcohol runs and stuff? Because I know like only you can have like a certain amount of like canned liquor, or like you can't bring in hard liquor or something like that. I could just watch us going through it so fast.
What?
I could just see us going through like White Claws so fast.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've never really thought about the alcohol too much. One, I'm like not that big of a drinker, so it doesn't affect me that much. But I think there's no glass and then maybe no hard liquor, but like it's just irrelevant because you can get in like whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like,
so you guys have bags of wine.
Yeah, bags of wine for sure. That's like a bit. If people bring bags of wine through Electric Forest, everyone's slapping the bag like at all times.
Yeah.
Just when you go in, like when you go in through security for like the camping area, don't put anything like in your glove box or in like the center console.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, when you walk in, they're gonna check. They're gonna get everyone out of the car. They're gonna check those two places. Mm-hmm. Just like generally scan like anything in the rows that you were sitting in, and then they'll open the trunk. But most of the time they like don't go through it. Obviously, there's like a chance that you could get someone that's in a bad mood or whatever. Like just because I'm saying I've never really gotten searched hard, that doesn't mean it's like not possible.
Yeah,
I did get searched really hard one time when I was leaving the festival and coming back in, because every time you come back in, once you leave, they have to recheck your car.
Okay.
But as long as you don't like put any, like if you put it in the back of your trunk and the first thing you see when you open up is like a massive glass bottle, or like what the hell?
Yeah,
Just, put it in a bag or something and you can get like whatever you want inside.
Okay, cool. I know. I figured all of that stuff would like come down the line. It's obviously not the most important thing, you guys, but it's just something I was thinking about.
Yeah, no, you definitely. I mean, that just stinks. You spend like $50 on like various alcohols, and they all get taken away. I think they allow 1 case of beer and 1 bag of wine per person. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I'm sorry if that information is not correct, but
it was something.
They don't have to worry about it. They're not looking that hard.
Okay. Thank you for that too. Because we were going to do group camp, so I'm like, there's also going to be so many cars of people like coming in, and like the nice thing about that is like sharing the resources, and like with my coming, I'm going with 3 people, and then, you know, hopefully this whole group camp, the 3 of us have never been before, so it'll be nice attending with people who have gone, who like know the whole drill, who hopefully some people are going to be driving in, not flying in, so they might be able to bring some of the essentials that we can't fit in our luggage on the plane.
Yeah, so, that's essential.
Yeah, it's like nice to share the resources and stuff like that. But you touched on this a little bit before, and I wanted to ask you about the RV parties. Can you sort of like explain what this whole thing is to people who don't know?
Yes. See, this is something else that like for a while I thought was a secret thing, but it's just like grown so big. Maybe it was never secret and I just like didn't know, because like the internet community around like festivals and stuff wasn't as big, so it's hard to find out.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I went to an RV party my first year. I think I went to one, but not like the RV parties.
Right.
These like the RV parties are the down camps, and these are like, I still don't fully understand it, but I know Jenga. I don't know if you know that DJ. He like has his own bus, and it's like a school bus that's set up with like a massive sound system. Okay. And that is like just, there's some people that will put on just like their own DJ sets at their RVs. That are just like random people attending the festival that not knocking them. Some of those are like the best sets ever. Those people are really talented too. But there's also this whole other sound camp area where some people that have like played the festival, like literally people that are like second tier like headliners are like playing at these RV parties.
Like
So
after hours, right?
these are all after hours. So once the festival closes at like between 2 and 4 every day, you can go to these RV parties. So you can just look it up on the maps where the sound camps are and the RVs. I don't understand how this is going to work because now they're separated, and before they were like one and the same.
Okay.
So just look at the map because the RVs are separate from that now. But yeah, they have like a whole schedule. I used to just like hear about it word of mouth. Like I think even Jaws has played one before, Grizz, Big Gigantic, they've all done them before. But now I'm realizing they actually have like schedules and everything set up. So like I found out about the Jenga bus last year somehow like through the internet, and they had like a schedule that was being posted. So there's ways to like schedule this into your time so you know if there's people you want to see, like you can get to it. But other than that, literally just like walking through the RVs and seeing whatever party like looks the most fun.
Right.
I think another one of the RV parties is called now I'm forgetting the name. There's a big white bus that I'm forgetting the name of. But there's some that have like official names that are there every year.
And but pretty much like if you have GA access, you can just like walk right through the RVs, right?
Yes, anyone can walk there. So that's just like if you have extra energy at night, that's like where it's okay to be really loud. Like there's a lot of people there, like probably like, oh, I remember the other name. It's the Struggle Bus is another one if you're looking.
That's amazing.
That one I think goes every year. Yeah, that's if you have extra energy at night, you don't like want to keep, if you don't have a sound system or you do have a sound system and you like don't want your neighbors to hate you. That's what everyone is. There's like thousands of people over there. Like it's crazy. It's like a small stage inside. It's like there's more people at these sets than like at like the forest stage.
I definitely want to like experience it and like hit it up and like see who's on the schedule and everything like that. And then there's like the other half of me that's like, bitch, I'm gonna be 29. I want to go to sleep and like get a nice like rest.
Seriously. That's how I used to be too. There was one year like 2 years ago, I think, 2018, I didn't go to a single one. I was like, I'm going to bed. I used to value my sleep so much more, but I'm like going through this stage where I'm like, Ashley, stay up all night long. You don't know how much longer your friends are going to be doing this stuff for.
Is it confusing at night to like find your car? Have you ever been lost? Because I do that shit all the time. I always
Absolutely. That's something, a tip for camping and then going inside. Try not to be like too screwed up. Don't pregame too hard like at the beginning of the day on the first day. Like try to get the lay of the land of like where you're camping and also walking through the forest for the first time, because if you go through like hammered, you're like not gonna be able to find your way back. And I made that mistake a couple of years ago, like not being able to get back to camp at night, and I went back with only one other friend and we were like walking in circles like where were we? We left when like we were like we pre-gamed a little bit too hard to make our way back. But there are these big structures that are different animals that are like glow up. So it's kind of like some festivals have things called like pods, I think. It's kind of like that. Instead of them being like numbered or whatever, like we knew that we were near the wolf one year, so you can see them really far away and be like, okay, it's like your North Star. Like walk in the general area of the wolf and like we'll somehow find our way, even if we have to walk up and down. But then for group camping, everything's labeled, so it's like battleship grid, so you will know what letter and number you are, so that's helpful. And then I think Aid said in a video once, if you drop a pin where you are, then even if you don't have great service, you'll still know your location. So if you drop a pin at your tent, that might be able to work.
Cool. Yeah, that would be definitely like those animal structures would be helpful. And then I've heard people say like, obviously like mark your easy ups or whatever with like flags that you guys would recognize, something like that too.
Or even just like glowing lights, if you have battery powered lights to put on your tent, that can help. It's obviously not as high, but just when you're like in the general vicinity, that could need you.
Help. Yeah. Okay. Well, I won't keep you too much longer. I had some questions about the music too before we wrap up here, but one thing that was also very controversial this year was when the lineup dropped, because everyone always has an opinion.
Yes.
Every time. And I think because this festival got so popular and you are going to have a lot of people who haven't attended it before, I don't think like they fully understand some of those like resident artists who are on there. And also like this is not a mainstream festival like an Ultra, where you're going to recognize every single name on this lineup. It's like not about that. There's all different kinds of performers and artists and musicians. So I wanted to know your thoughts on the lineup, and yeah, like if you could talk a little bit about some of the resident things like the string cheese incident, which I didn't know what that was until last year.
I didn't know what it was when I first started going either. So yeah, I was shocked by the lineup just as much as everybody else was this year, just because I started to really think it's 10th anniversary, and they're like, they're like really going all out on social media right now. Like maybe this really will be crazy, because I know like it's a business at the end of the day. Like this is home and such a special place to us for so many people, but it's a business. Like it's all about like marketing and stuff to a certain extent. So at first I was like, it's the 10th year, they have to say something to try to sell tickets, you know?
Right.
But then I started to really think that they were gonna go all out, and it wasn't what we expected, because they have like a certain like formula, I guess, too, where they have like a group of like house artists, they have a group of like experimental bass artists, they have a group of jam bands and all that, and like it's normally not, the headliners aren't the headliners that you see at every other festival. It's normally like a Flume or an Odessa mixed with like, there's normally one night that has like one big headliner that's like more mainstream.
Yeah.
So I think it was really off-putting when we didn't get the more like out there artists that we normally get. Like we thought it was going to be even crazier than usual. Like I was thinking that we were going to get like Tipper and Pretty Lights, and like all these people, like people were going to like come back from long breaks and surprise us with like this crazy lineup we never thought we were going to get. So I think it was just like a shock at first to see that we didn't get that, but I hate seeing like all the negativity about it, because if you love Electric Forest that much, you know that that's like not what it's about. I've been saying like for years, like I want to do the scavenger hunts, and every year I don't do it because I'm so like obsessed with going to every single set, and there's so many people I want to see. So then like the way I'm thinking about it is like, this is my opportunity to experience like Electric Forest in a different way. It gives me all this time to do all this stuff that they have planned for us that I don't get to experience as much as I would like. Like this is an opportunity, if anything.
No, I can't. Well, one, I cannot wait to experience a Bass Nectar set. You guys, me and Aid told Ashley, we were like, we have to be with you for Bass Nectar.
I am nervous to have you guys see how crazy we are.
No, I promise you, like, I want to drink the Kool-Aid. Like, I'm so about it. I like cannot fucking wait to see you guys like in your element. But I agree with everything you said. Like, we have different music tastes, because like you know some artists that like I've never even heard of. But in general, I felt the same way, because I in my video I posted like the headliners that they had in the last few years, and they were some of my like absolute favorite artists. So when I think the headliners might have been the thing that like threw people off the most, Major Lazer and Diplo being something that was a huge conversation. But the undercard is like so stacked, and I went and listened to all these people that I didn't know about, and I'm personally so excited to like see all these people for the first time. And I think there's plenty of house, there's plenty of bass. I want to see some of these jam bands that I've never seen before. And I will go on record saying, like, initially when I saw Diplo's name, I texted you. I was like, really? Fucking Diplo and Major Lazer, like, do we need both of them? Yeah. But Diplo as an artist, like, his Higher Ground album is amazing. And, like, the man knows how to play a set depending on his surroundings. Like, he plays Burning Man every year. Like, he's going to put on something that's going to be fucking crazy. So I actually probably will go to his set just to see what he does. And also he's like been trolling people who are talking shit about him, which is kind of funny.
He doesn't he doesn't care at all. Yeah. You can tell. I think I don't know. I just think that a lot of people just want something to be mad about. It's like a combination between that and GA. And I think maybe it's because the festival is becoming more like mainstream, and there's just more people that have been, so there's a lot more opinions that are being thrown out there.
Yeah.
But like that's not what Electric Forest is about. Electric Forest is about like just having a good time and living in the moment, and like experiencing, like I said, all the other stuff that they have set up and planned for us. So I just think that I don't think it's as big of a deal as everyone is making it out to be. And like you said, if you look at the undercard, there's so many great people. Yeah. And then a whole other thing, Electric Forest is about having people that aren't so mainstream, people are saying they like don't know so many people on the lineup. Well, there's a lot of people that you didn't know before that now you love because Electric Forest introduced you to them. Like there's this whole undercard of people that like could turn into your favorite artists. Like at one point in time, I remember me and my friend Maddie really wanted to see Rufus Du Sol in 2016. All my friends didn't know what it was, and now Rufus Du Sol is like big headliner that people are dying to have on their lineups. Like there's a Rufus Du Sol on the bottom of that lineup.
Yep. Oh, that was such a good point. 100%. I couldn't like agree with you more. And would you say like, well, I want to ask you some of your stories too, just to get people excited, but do you have any like iconic or really memorable moments of sets that you've seen in the last few years? Any favorites?
One iconic moment for me was the first year Friday night was Skrillex, and like I said, My Name is Skrillex, I think was the first song I ever listened to in like electronic music, and then my first favorite song was Cinema, so that was like an amazing thing for me to be able to see him in the forest just because the production is so amazing. I had seen him on tour, but that night just like wasn't it for me. I lost my phone. It was just like a big mess. So it was cool to be able to see him and like the way I always dreamed of seeing him after like 5 years of dreaming about it. And then that same year, another great moment for me, this isn't as much about the set, but this was at the Bass Sector set the first time I saw him. And I went with a really small group that year, and we met up with one of my friends like met up with some of her friends, so we were like kind of with this group of people that she knew but I didn't know well. And one of them, he's a DJ, his name's Kraz, and I had never heard of him before. He was relatively small. He still is relatively small. He actually has a song with Bass Sector, so I was like learning about that whole situation like throughout the weekend, getting like to know him better. And while we were at his set, he actually played the song. So I was like standing with this like kid, or his like dream is to be like to be this big DJ, and his favorite artist is Bass Sector. He like randomly just sent a sample of a song to Bass Sector. He ended up choosing to like use it for an album. So now this kid, it's like his idol that he's just like cold emailing him like samples, and now he's like here listening to it like at Electric Forest. So that was like such a special moment for like me and my whole group of friends to like see him and like see the look on his face, being like there's thousands and tens of thousands of people around me like looking at like they're enjoying my song.
That's so
I was like, that's like honestly my like all-time favorite festival moment, period.
Yeah, I literally cannot even imagine.
That was so cool. And then I wasn't there for this, but some other like random highlights are like Grizz has walked through the forest before playing his sax, and like has gone like a whole parade of people watching him. Like I would die to have experienced that.
Yeah. I saw Said the Sky too posted last year. He like went and played piano.
There's so many moments like that. It's just crazy because like how many people are really seeing it. Like I've never seen one of those like big moments like that. You just have to have right place, right time.
Right. And like even some people last year, like I was watching Seven Lions did a performance with, I think it's Demibo, who like now he has his like side project with. Like I literally would have been beside myself. It's like
I also think I might have been there for that. It was like a secret set that got announced for Sunday.
I think so, yeah. I was like
I was there for that because I saw the notification. I was just hanging out, so I went and hung out there alone. But I'm like not the biggest fans of like either of those artists. So I was like, I don't remember who it was. Was it Seven Lions? Was it Set the Sky? Because I put the notification back up.
No, yeah, it was them, and yeah, I'm looking forward to like all of those things, and I think seeing people's vlogs too, just to go back to like what you were saying about the scavenger hunt and like all these things. I think now just because so many people are starting channels and like sharing their experiences online, like it's spreading, and like now people are more aware of all of the things, which could be good and bad. But just seeing like so many of the things you can interact with in the forest, and seeing people like sit up in these like wooden structures while they're like watching a set, I'm just like dreaming about being there. I cannot fucking wait.
Yeah, and that's like something I said I wish I spend more time doing that. It's really easy to like walk through it and be like, oh, like saw the trading post, walking by, oh, I saw like the tea party, but like to actually participate in it is like a whole other thing. So definitely everyone carve out their time, because that's something every year I feel like I like don't do enough of.
Yeah.
Another thing that's really cool, this isn't like a set moment, but there's like the telephones, like I said, you pick it up and like it will automatically ring to another phone like somewhere in the forest, and you can just like chit chat with people, which is always like really funny. People are saying the most random stuff that makes no sense. So it's always a good laugh no matter what. But there was a year, there's like a whole video about it. Might be, I think it's probably on the Electric Forest YouTube channel, where people would pick up and they'd talk to like Bass Nectar on the phone. He has like a huge thing with to write love on her arms, and like he has like, a lot of like, he's a big advocate for mental health and stuff. So he like was just chit chatting to people about like how their day was going, and like spreading awareness for like different charities and stuff, and just spreading awareness for like mental health in general by like making that video. But imagine picking up the phone and realizing like there's so many people that are there just because of Bass Nectar, because he's a resident. Imagine picking up the phone and being like, Lauren, this is you. I'm like, people are probably like all like doing drugs or drinking, being like, I'm imagining this.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. Like, I didn't want to get into that too much, but I feel like there's obviously like this whole other aspect of it that I'm sure like a lot of people are on substances around you, which like, I'm a judgment-free zone, so whatever makes everybody's experience better, as long as they're being safe and enjoying themselves. But I'm like totally expecting to just be walking around and people are just gonna be like tripping all around me.
Oh, definitely. That was something, like I said, I was really new in the festival scene when I first started going to Electric Forest, so I was very overwhelmed by all of it at first. Well, not really, not very overwhelmed, but I was like, oh my God, everyone is like doing something or is like dressed a certain way or whatever. It can be like a lot to take in, but like everyone is just like really having fun. It is definitely a big part of the culture, but you go into it with an open mind, you're realizing like no one's like hurting you or anything. Everyone's just living their best life, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. With that being said, just to wrap up here, do you have any like final thoughts that you would tell someone who hasn't gone, or like any major tips that we left out here that people should know?
I don't know. I feel like we covered so many great things. Like I said, well, I guess this goes with any festival. Bring a bandana, because there's so much, you're walking on like the ground and stuff, so there's a lot of dirt, and that's gonna like go up into your lungs and nose. It's like such a random, very specific advice. I guess just like I said, go around and make sure you like really experience the forest. Like every year, me and my friends say we're gonna do it. We walk through and we're like, well, we saw the stuff, like we just need a full lap. Like I guess we'll go back to the campsite, but walking through it and seeing stuff isn't really like experiencing everything it has to offer. Like bring something for the trading post, like a higher quality item that you can trade there. Bring something for the giving tree that's going to be like a lower quality item, like a cigarette or like a piece of gum, like to really feel like you're participating like in everything it has to offer. Like try to find the scavenger hunts, talk to the characters, and whenever you have downtime, like try to avoid chilling out at your campsite, because that's something me and my friends always do, just because it's easiest. Like all of our alcohol's there. You're not supposed to bring alcohol inside, so we're just like sitting and like pre-gaming for way too long. Bring like a way to bring like a tapestry or like a couch pouch or a hammock, and just like chill inside the forest in Sherwood Court or in Sherwood Forest, or like at any of the stages, and just like listen to people you've never seen, because there's so many jam bands. There's like sets to like just go sit and listen and relax and just chit chat with your friends in the back and enjoy like the weather and stuff. At the very least, like try to be inside as much as you possibly can. And like talk to as many people as you possibly can. Everyone's like in their own little world, so it's funny to like walk into someone else's perspective even for like 30 seconds.
I love that. I was gonna ask you, you sort of answered it, like how much time is spent as like downtime versus like actually being inside the festival. Like also depends on what time you wake up. But usually like it sounds like you would just hang out more and then go into the festival like later at night kind of thing.
I think that doors open at noon. Like they kick it off with like yoga in the morning where you can go in, but my friends and I are just like the worst in that way. We are always like so late. Like there's been times where I've gone in like when the sun's setting, and the sun sets at like 9:30 at night. At that time of year, it's so bad. But so you have the opportunity to like literally just sit there all day and like
if you want to do that.
Campsite, but like at the end of the day, you can go, like you didn't pay just to go camping. You paid like
Mm-hmm.
to experience the forest. So
Yeah.
try to get in, like, if you can go in. But at the same time, like, we're not, I guess I'm like not giving us enough credit because we like will spend so much time like at the RVs and stuff. So it depends on like,
Mm-hmm.
we're still experiencing stuff, just not as much inside as we are like in the campgrounds.
And there's plenty too, like you said, it's just more expensive. Like there's plenty of food and like drink options inside too.
Yes, there's a bunch. And then even in the campground area, there's this thing called Main Street where they have like a big area with like vendors. Some of the vendors are open up all night long. So that's food, drinks. There's even like, they find ways to make the simplest things fun. Like this, there's a cereal bar. They have like cartoons set up so you can sit there and like eat cereal all night long and watch cartoons, and like they have like a bunch of different toppings. It's like a frozen yogurt bar mixed with a cereal bar.
Wow.
So there's like just always something to do, even like in the camp areas. Like there's like they found a way to like bring the magic of the forest into the camp areas too.
They literally think of everything.
They really do.
Man, I know.
You are like such a big fan. I want to learn more about him since you're always like hyping him up.
I love him. I just feel like he's such a big kid, and like, yes, I'm not like naive. I completely understand that this is a business, and he's done very well for himself, and like some of the decisions made are because it's a business. But I've literally watched the EDC Las Vegas documentary like I don't even know how many times, and just like learned a little bit about him. And he just literally seems to do all this because he just loves the music and the community so much, and he really thinks about things like through the fans' perspective. And he's just still like a big kid at heart, and it's just like I look up to that because I'm like, I'm gonna get older eventually, but I love how he still incorporates it into his life even though he's like an adult.
Yeah, that's such
like,
a perspective. Especially because like, yeah, it has to be a business. If you just wanted to be a kid and think about like just do whatever his heart desired, then Electric Forest wouldn't be here for us today because like it needs to be profitable enough for it to continue. Like, so the fact that like there's so many businesses that are not thinking about us at all, like in this like world of like huge large corporations that we live in. So the fact that they're trying to like use this business to provide us with something actually relatively valuable and thinking about us even the littlest bit, like most businesses are not doing that. They think about like the only thing that matters is how to make money.
Yeah, 100%. And like I got to talk to him that one time, like I won a contest and I got to FaceTime with him. I literally bawled afterwards. Like I was like so overwhelmed, but he was just so fucking nice and was like asking me about my channel and then just other things. Like he DMs people a lot. I've just DM'd with him like a couple times randomly, and he genuinely like has asked me questions. He like commented on one of my podcasts and was like, oh, what's your podcast about? And I was just talking to him about it.
So cute.
Yeah, I was like, you have probably a million people messaging you. You don't even have to answer me. So like just the little things like that I think are important. And like that's what I take with me too, like through my like small channel. Like I try and answer every single person or every single comment if I can, because it's like I just want to take the time out of my day. If you're gonna watch my stuff and like support my stuff, then like the least I can do is answer you. You know what I mean?
Seriously, like people like it's a really humbling experience to know that people are taking like 10 minutes out of their day or however long to like hear my voice or hear your voice. Like that's they can't get that time back, and they're choosing that's how they want to spend the day. Like that's like an honor.
Yeah, and
So
like and like you said, like sometimes you watch like YouTube videos. Like I'm such a like big YouTube fan. Like I will put you on in the background. It's like comforting. I will just, even if the video is something like if you post something about an event that I'm not going to, or somebody posts something like that's completely irrelevant to my life, I'm like, I'm still putting it down in the background and I'll just do my makeup and listen just to like hear what you have to say.
Especially because there's not a ton of like festival content creators. Like I watch like all of your videos on like how to prepare events, like even if I'm not going to the event, you know, like I've seen so many of your EDC videos on like even like what security's like why is that relevant to me? I'm not going, but I'll still watch every single one of them.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's fun. I feel like we have such a fun like community that we get to do content around, which is like the best part. And it's just like such a rewarding experience, like sharing it with other people. And then the whole other element of actually meeting people in person and like actually seeing them at festivals is crazy. So I'm sure you'll definitely this year probably have a lot of people recognize you and come up to you just from seeing your videos.
I hope so. I've like met a couple people in the past, like a small handful. I think the year where I only had one video up, I like still met like one or two people. I remember being like, "How do you know my name?" They'd be like, "Ashley." I was like, "How do you know my name?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, that sounds so rude," but I was just so confused.
Yeah.
I have a name. I have a necklace that says my name on it, so I kind of have a situation like that a lot where people are saying my name, and I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Oh, I just read your necklace." I thought it was one of those situations. I was like, "Oh my god, you actually know who I am."
Yeah.
Hopefully, like I'll get to meet some more people too, and like
Yeah.
a great part about like you said, like meeting people is that we actually have stuff in common that like I think is important. And I think I'm like I'm a huge hypocrite because I'm like so addicted to like shopping and like I said, like I like clothes and stuff, but sometimes it just feels so shallow sometimes. So it's really cool to like meet people that are also interested in like living life, you know, like not like buying like the next purse and like doing the next thing. Like I actually feel like the people that I meet, like we have a lot in common that I would genuinely want to be friends with, you know?
Yeah.
It's really like rewarding to like have those interactions.
Totally.
And I like also super random, but I like love watching your channel, and I like really appreciate and look up to you so much because I love how you're like so welcoming, and I feel like so many people are so like competitive and stuff, and like especially within our community people are less like that, but I really appreciate how you put on people like that have less followers than you, and like just even giving me the opportunity to talk to you today and like on the podcast and shouting me out in your videos. It's so nice. So many people would never do that, so really like look up to how welcoming you are, and I hope that I can do that for other people as like other people start their channels.
I appreciate that. You're gonna make me cry. I've been emotional this whole week. It's been bad. No,
Oh my god, don't cry. I don't want to make you cry, but I mean it. I seriously like look up to that so much. I think it's so important, like so wise and mature. Like if one of us wins, like we all win. Like we can help each other.
100%. No, I totally agree. I just think it's just so much fun, and like this is how I feel. It's been so great to meet you and Aid because we're just like in this together. Like I don't have other friends who are doing this, and like we don't know what we're doing. There's no guide to like tell us like how to grow your channel, like what content you should be doing, or like what's the right move for you to do next. You sort of just figure it out as you go. So like having you guys and being able to shoot ideas off of you and just like discuss things has been like the best experience ever. So I'm so grateful that I can like bounce ideas off you guys and talk to you. And I just think like that shared interest we all have, and like sort of being in this together, like it's just all good. It's all good all around. And my mom always said to us, treat people the way you want to be treated. She drilled that into our brain as a kid. So I totally get that from her. I'm like, I don't see any sense in like putting other people down. Like you get ahead by supporting others and bringing others like up with you. You're not going to do it alone. So I just totally don't believe in the mentality of like being out for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like I learned that lesson pretty young as well. Like I learned it when I did cheerleading in high school. I like went on to the team as a freshman just feeling like so like lost, and like I didn't really understand what was going on because I actually didn't do cheerleading for like 3 years. So I just like somehow made the team, and it was just like felt so lost. I hadn't done it in so long, and just like wishing that someone would like take me under their wing and like guide me. And like the next year when I was a sophomore, when all the new girls started, I was like, I will like never, the last thing I ever want is for anyone to feel like how I felt. Not that I was like being tortured by any means, but like I was like the way I felt, I want to make sure I can make this transition as easy as possible for anybody else. So now like going forward, it's like feels so rewarding to be able to help people instead of like putting other people back in a situation that you didn't like to be in.
Right. I love that. It was awesome. So what's coming up next then for your channel? What can people expect to see from you this year?
Well, I'm so excited because I'm going to have so many vlogs coming. I think the vlogs are so fun, and I'm so lucky that I have like a crazy friend group that like I can exploit for content because they're like 10 times funnier than I'll ever be. So I'm going to Gem and Jam in a couple weeks in Arizona, going to Deja Vu, like I said. I am going to Lightning in a Bottle, Electric Forest, going to this thing called Vibey Desert. Check that out, Vibey_desert on Instagram. A couple of my friends put that event on out in Southern California. I also have tickets purchased, but no plans yet for EDC and for Shambhala. So we'll see if that
my
happens. I'll have things like getting ready for those events and like tips and stuff for the events that I have been to, and like just
Wow.
stuff for the events I haven't been to. Yeah, I added myself onto the wait list like 2 months after
For Vegas?
after they sold out, and I got the tickets like 2 days ago. I was like,
Shut
are
up.
we going to this?
Oh my God. Have you done that one yet or no?
Hmm?
Would that be your first time?
Yes, yeah, I've already been like, okay, I need to watch you and Con Candy's videos about EDC, just in case. I don't know if I'm gonna end up going, but I have the tickets, so I can like just drive out there. It might be like a half cent, which is kind of a disgrace for EDC, but if it's like the only way to do it, I might have to.
Okay, so you're gonna be very busy.
Yes, I have literally so many events planned. I'm gonna try to be uploading those vlogs as soon as possible after.
That's awesome.
So you guys can all see what those festivals are like. So yeah, pretty much my YouTube channel is the main thing. It's Ashley Gauthier. You can search Ashley Gauthier, GAUTHIER on YouTube. And then my Instagram handle is just my full name, and my Twitter handle is the same thing, but without the A at the beginning. The @ is the A.
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm so excited for all of your content. I can't wait to see what you come up with, and as you grow your channel, like, it's just been awesome to see your growth. So I'm so happy for you, and I can't wait to see you in person finally at Electric Forest.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to meet you and Aid in person. I can't believe I didn't meet Aid last year. We were supposed to meet, but
okay,
my flight got delayed like 7 or 8 hours, and it just threw the whole thing off. So and when I'm at Electric Forest, it's my time to like have no care in the world and try not to schedule anything. So it was just hard after that, but excited to meet you guys and for you guys to experience Bass Sector with me.
Dude, I know. I can't wait. It's definitely going to be one of those festivals. Like, I'm sure like we might plan meetups and do like fun things, but I'm the same as you. Like, I fully just want to enjoy it and like be up all up in that environment and relax and just explore like as much as possible. So I can't wait to be there.
Yeah, definitely don't plan too much stuff. It will do yourself a disservice by like having any sort of like cloud over your head of like, I need to go like do this thing, even if that thing is fun. Like even sometimes scheduling sets, I'm like, oh, like I just want to like go wherever the wind blows me. So
right. Okay, that's definitely the best attitude to have about it. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. It was awesome getting to know you a little better. And, you know, I'm glad we got to talk. And thank you for sharing all of your tips. I think this will help a lot of people.
Yes, hopefully it helps. This is my first podcast, so hopefully I like answered the questions properly and like gave the answers you were looking for.
No, you did great. I really, really appreciate it.
Alrighty, you guys, that was so fucking awesome. Thank you so much, Ash, for coming on today's episode. Again, you guys, go check her out on YouTube and give her a follow on Instagram at Ashley Gauthier. I feel so much better and so much more prepared after that conversation. It's one thing to watch videos, to read the Reddit threads, and to go online, but to just actually like hear from somebody who's gone and who's done it 5 times, it just was so much more reassuring. And she just has really helpful tips. She's been through it, she knows the deal, and I feel like she gave me some peace of mind, and she shared some really awesome stories. So, you know, it's only January right now, but that got me so hype, and it's gonna be here before we know it. So I hope you guys learned something new today. I hope you got hype as well. And again, like, feel free to reach out. Ashley is more than happy to help you guys with any questions that you have. And again, check out all her YouTube videos if you want to see like specific topics covered. But yeah, huge shout out. Reddit is an incredible resource. They have like mega threads on Electric Forest, so just go follow that community, and literally any and all questions you can think of, I've been reading through there religiously, and it'll pick up as we get closer to the festival as well. So definitely use that as a resource. That's incredible. The Facebook groups are really big, and yeah, and just ask around. You know, we're all coming from different areas and stuff. Like, I'm personally going to be flying in and then probably renting a car and driving, so like I had really big questions on how the hell do I fit all of this in a suitcase? Like, how do I fit a tent? How do I fit all this camping materials and all that shit? So, you know, there's like a lot of people answering those types of questions. If you want specific questions on how to set up your campsite, what you should bring, anything like that,
definitely go check all that stuff out. But Ashley is so wonderful. I'm so excited to bring her to you guys. I seriously couldn't be more supportive of her. So I really, really hope you enjoyed this episode and this conversation that I had with her. I personally cannot wait to bring you guys my point of view as to what the festival experience is like. I'm going to be doing daily vlogs, as I always do for festivals, and like I said, some preparation videos, some things on like what I'm packing, what I'm wearing. So stay tuned on my YouTube channel, Emma Kapotes. And yeah, I just can't wait. I can't wait for the vlogs. I can't wait for you to see what comes together. As it gets closer, I'll keep you guys posted on any plans that I have, but I will definitely be doing some sorts of meetups. I'm personally, you know, tickets go on sale tomorrow for group camp, so like literally fingers crossed that I get it. Future Emma, I hope you got the tickets. But I'm staying in a group camp with the Lunchbox team and the Lunchbox fam, so I'm so excited to be experiencing it with all of them, and we have so many fun things planned for group camp. So that is going to be like a whole experience that I can't wait to show you guys in itself. So pumped about that. And this lineup in general, like again, I just have to say it's so eclectic. It's not something that I typically, not all these artists that I would listen to. A lot of them I don't know. That is the most appealing thing to me about this festival lineup. You know, it's rare that I get to see so many artists in one weekend that I haven't seen before. So I'm totally about wandering, discovering new music. I feel like that's the point of this. Like Ashley was saying, there's so many hidden gems, there's so many things to do and see. So really, like, if you're going, get out there, get in the forest early, explore, maybe separate from your friends as long as you're being safe, and just go wander around by yourself, meet new people, go to the RV parties. Like, I want to do it all. So it's going to be a lot to squeeze in one weekend, but I'm very, very excited for it. So anyway, super pumped about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please share it with your fams today. Send it to a friend, a coworker, your mom, your dad, whoever, I don't care. Tag me in your Instagram stories and on Twitter at raveculturecast and at Emma Kapotes. I really, really appreciate you guys doing that. Tag Electric Forest in it too. I would love for them to hear this episode. That would be really, really cool. But anyway, I'm gonna take a quick break and then we'll get into EDM news and then wrap it up. Alrighty, you guys, so what do we have for news today? I wanted to share with you, I know we're in mid-January now, but there was a really cool list that was released from 1001tracklists.com. They released their recaps of 2019. I thought it was really interesting, so I wanted to share that with you just so you can, you know, get a recap of the year and see where they were at. So for them, these were their top 10 festivals whose track lists received the most views in 2019. So number 1, Tomorrowland, Belgium, no surprise there, was viewed 798,000 times. Second festival, Ultra Miami, viewed 500,000 times. Third, EDC Las Vegas, 304,000 times. Fourth was Tomorrowland Winter, 117K. 5, EDC Mexico, shout out, 84K. And then we have Creamfields, DEFCON 1, EZoo, Ultra Europe, and Lost Lands. So those are your top 10 festivals that were viewed the most on 1001 track lists. Okay, so this is cool too. This was the top tracks of 2019. So these are the top 10 most DJ supported tracks of 2019. Should we start from the bottom and go up? I think that's more fun. Number 10 was Grapevine by Tiesto. Shout out Tiesto, that's awesome. Number 9 was I Feel It by Left Wing. Number 8, I'm Not Alone, Camel Fat remix, Calvin Harris's song. Number 7, I love this song, Fever by Don Diablo and Sid. The song is so good. Love that one. Another great one, Breathe by Camel Fat and Christoph. Absolute banger. I love that one. Live is like, that hits different. Number 5, Nobody Else by Axwell. Number 4, King of My Castle by Keanu Silva, the Don Diablo edit. Shout out Don Diablo, we love him. This was a great one. Number 3, Piece of Your Heart by Medusa, which also was nominated for a Grammy Award. Great fucking song. That one was a pretty big one of 2019. And then number 1 and 2, both Fisher, guys. Number 2, You Little Beauty by Fisher, and number 1, Losing It by Fisher. No surprise there at all. Fisher had a huge year in, I would say, like end of 2018 into 2019. So that was really cool. Top labels of 2019. These are the top 10 labels with the most DJ supported tracks out of the top 300 tracks of 2019. All right, number 10, Virgin Records. 9, Stamped Records. 8, Protocol Recordings. 7, Spinnin' Deep. 6, Tool Room Records. 5, Hell Deep Records. Hey, shout out Oliver Heldens. 4, Axtone Records. 3, Hexagon Records. Shout out Don Diablo. Number 10, Musical Freedom Records. And number 1, Spinnin' Records. Damn, son. I didn't realize Spinnin' was still number 1. That's pretty cool. All right, and then this is the last one, which I thought this was a really fun one to share. These are the top sets of 2019. So these are the top 10 most viewed track lists in 2019. These are the top sets that you guys listen to. A couple on here, absolutely not surprising to me at all, and I listened to them. Okay, number 10, Armin van Buuren, Ultra Mainstage, Miami 2019. That was such a good set. 10 out of 10 recommend. Oh my God, are these all Ultra? Number 9, Alesso, Mainstage, Ultra Miami. 8, Afrojack, Mainstage, Ultra Miami. Number 7, Nicky Romero, Mainstage, Ultra Miami. Number 6, The Chainsmokers, The Chainsmokers, Mainstage, Ultra Miami. Number 5, Martin Garrix, Mainstage, Ultra Miami. Number 4, Oliver Heldens, Mainstage, Ultra Miami. You guys, I've said this before. I think I said it in my top EDM, the top EDM of 2019, my episode on it. The Oliver Heldens Ultra Miami set from this year is fucking fire. It is so good. His combination, he plays like a little bit of his high-low tracks. He went a little techno on Mainstage, and it was a sunset set. Oh my God, it's pure fire. That man can do no wrong. Number 3, Tiesto, Mainstage, Weekend 1 of Tomorrowland, Belgium. Number 2, Timmy Trumpet, Mainstage, Weekend 1, Tomorrowland. That surprised me. I'm not like the biggest Timmy Trumpet fan, but he's really fun. But like, damn son, he was number 2 overall. Number 1, Marshmello, Mainstage, Ultra Miami. That was a big set too. I mean, Marshmello's pretty global at this point, so that's like not very surprising to me because he's pretty mainstream. But anyway, so those are your top sort of like tracks, records, sets of the year. I thought that was really interesting and another cool recap just to reflect on where our musical interests were this year. So we love that. A couple more things in the news here. Tickets for Bass Canyon and Lost Lands go on sale soon. They may already be up at this point, but Excision was just teasing that today. Bass Canyon is August 28th to the 30th. Lost Lands is happening September 25th to the 27th. So stay tuned if you guys are interested in those festivals. Okay, you guys, Governor's Ball released their lineup for this year, and it's really good. It's really good. I'm whispering that because if you guys know, I went to Governor's Ball. I don't know why I'm whispering. I went to Governor's Ball for the second time this year. I just went Saturday, I think. I vlogged it. Was not great. Not great. I didn't have the best things to say about it, to be honest with you. I didn't love it the first time I went, so I wasn't surprised that I didn't love it the second time I went, but I went because Zoo was on the lineup. And there were some other cool artists like Casey Musgraves and like some people I've never seen that I was like, all right, you know, it's right in New York. I'll just go for the day. My biggest problem with it that I said then was it was very young. So it was 16 plus at the time. And it was basically just like a bunch of drunk teenagers. And again, I'm not a fan of mixed genres. There's too much dead time in between when they switch acts rather than like an EDM festival where there's like always something going on. So I don't know. And the lineup was like, eh. So I didn't love it, and I said in the vlog I wouldn't be back, I wouldn't do it again. But then I reported on the podcast a couple months ago that I think this is their 10th year anniversary, I want to say, they made some changes to the festival policies that I was pretty happy about. They said that their age policy was changing, so I believe it's 18 plus now, and if you are under 18 you have to be accompanied by an adult. So that was a change. They said they were beefing up their VIP options and offerings and that they were adding more water refill stations. So that all sounds great. I was very in favor of that. I think those are positive changes. And then they dropped the lineup today, and I'm not kidding, I had a couple of my friends text me and be like, oh shit, like we have to go this year. And I was like, fuck, you're right, we do. So I don't know if I'll go all 3 days just because Randall's Island is a pain in the ass to get to. It's the same location as where Electric Zoo is, just so you guys have reference. Their artwork is beautiful too, actually. Their poster is really well designed. It's cool. So I mean, the lineup's great. I'll just call out a couple. Again, this is a mixed genre festivals, but so many of the performers and singers I'm so excited to see, which is like rare for me. So they have Tame Impala. I don't listen to them, but I know that's a big one. Missy Elliott, Flume, not surprised Flume's on here. Vampire Weekend, that would be fun. Stevie Nicks, literal legend. Solange, Miley Cyrus, which fuck yes, I would go see Miley. That would be so good. Ellie Goulding, love her. Rufus Du Sol, that was the first thing I saw when I looked at the poster. I was like, oh shit, Rufus Du Sol. Portugal the Man, John Bellion, Carly Rae Jepsen, Maren Morris. I've never seen her, but she has a beautiful voice. I would see her. Of Monsters and Men, like what? That would be crazy. Bleachers, Banks, Griffin. You guys know how I feel about Griffin. Would not miss him. Madeon is on here. That's awesome. Alessia Cara. Guys, I love Alessia Cara. She's fucking great. She's one of phenomenal woman and her voice is incredible, but I just like love her music. Girl Talk. What a throwback. If you guys haven't heard of Girl Talk, the last time I heard of Girl Talk was when I was a freshman or sophomore in college. So we're talking 2009, 2010. We're talking 11 years ago now at this point. Girl Talk was like probably one of my, actually now that I think about it, this has all been a lie. I've been saying Life in Color 2011 was my first EDM show, but it wasn't really because I saw Girl Talk my freshman year and sophomore year of college. So Girl Talk was my first EDM show, I guess. I don't know, he literally was like a DJ, but he just played crazy mashups and did the weirdest shit on stage. He would have these like literal leaf blowers with toilet paper attached to them and would blow toilet paper all over the crowd and throw fucking crazy floaties and shit. So the fact that Girl Talk is on here, no idea what the man's been up to the last 10 years, but that's pretty cool. I would not miss that. Anyway, Arizona. Arizona is a really great band. I went to high school with the singer and one of the other guys in the band, so it's really funny. Who else is on here that I was excited about? LCD Sound System, that's pretty cool. I think that was pretty much it. Max, I like Max. He's a good singer. And I think that was it. But yeah, I mean, I think there were enough EDM artists on there that I would be excited. I would love to see Rufus, Madeon, Griffin, and then really just a lot of these singers and bands I would be so down for. So I probably will do one day, if not two. It depends. They do sell single day tickets. But again, you guys, I am selling tickets to that. So DM me if you want more information on that. Last up, the Miami citizens apparently are suing the city of Miami to possibly prevent Ultra from happening. Don't have too much information on that. That's been circulating amongst the news, but I'm pretty sure Ultra's gonna happen. It makes the city of Miami so much fucking money and brings so much tourism to the city. So I highly doubt they're gonna prevent it from happening. But anyway, you guys, I'm still TBD on Ultra. I'm trying to figure out my spring plans, but as soon as I have something solidified, I will let you guys know what I'm going to. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. My battery is dying on my camera, so I gotta wrap this up. Again, thank you all so much for sticking with me and for listening to the podcast today. Thank you, Ashley, for coming on at Ashley Gauthier if you guys wanna go follow her. Again, I would please love it if you would rate and review, subscribe, follow, tag me in your stories at raveculturecast and at Emma Kapotes. And yeah, I think that's all I've got, you guys. So I will be back next Wednesday with a really fun interview that I can't wait to share with you guys. So definitely tune in, and I will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.